else, and then, but let's start off with a prayer as usual, so, Senator Payne.
I'll be glad to. Number 7.
7.
Let us pray. Dear Heavenly Father, we thank you for each and every opportunity you give to us, Lord, as each breath of life you give is an opportunity for us to do your will and to serve your purpose in everything we do. Lord, we just ask you to lead us and guide us in this meeting today. Let your truths be known and your truths prevail. For us in Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you. Okay, good, thanks, sir. As I said, Representative Leverett is in chairing a subcommittee in judiciary, so he could not present his bill. So Senator Settler is going to present it with a friendly amendment, and I talked to Representative Leverett about it, and he is very happy with the amendment. So if you would please, sir, the second mic. Yep.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. Bring before you today House Bill 37, LC 491994. This is simply a disclosure bill. In fact, I've got some maps. When I saw the map, you'll probably see it before we're done testimony today, but many of our school districts provide both TRS coverage and Social Security for their teachers, but many do not. Some have opted out over the years. It's one of these things, if you opted out years ago, it's almost impossible to get back into it. And when teachers move from one district to another, sometimes they don't, they may not even be aware that some districts do and don't. What this bill does, Mr. Chairman, begin on July 1st of this year, anybody that's hired or that is, or people that are current employees every 5 years thereafter are going to get notified by their district what benefits they get. Line 16 of the bill, by July 1st of this year, they'll be told whether or not Social Security is being withheld from their pay and they're part of the Social Security program, whether or not they're part of TRS. Again, it's just one of these things to make sure that a decision is momentous of what retirement you're getting. You're aware of what you're getting before you take the job, and then every 5 years after that, it's just kind of a refresh for folks. That's really the bill, Mr. Chairman, and I do have an amendment I'd like to offer at the appropriate time.
Yes, sir. I've told people, we do it at our office. I think, and I don't know why other businesses and school systems don't do this. I think it's very important that not only the people know what they make, but they know the benefit package. You know, the TRS side, the health insurance side, because there's a lot of times when you add them all together, they say, wow, I didn't have a clue I was making that much money when you add the benefits to it. So I appreciate this very much. So we have I don't have any blinking lights, so let's go with your amendment.
Mr. Chairman, do you have amendments before you? I handed them to staff about 10 minutes ago.
Have we got them? Yep. Oh, okay.
Okay. What's being passed out, Mr. Chairman and members, this is another, should be a non-controversial kind of issue that relates to benefits. I was not aware, nor were others aware, that it is currently not lawful for school board members who are authorized to have benefits through their school board role. It's not possible for school districts to opt to give benefits to families. Now, this doesn't cost the state anything, but when we put provisions in years ago that related to school board members getting health care benefits with their nominal salary as school board members, there's no ability for a district, should they choose to say families, the school board member's covered, but the school board member can pay themselves and include families. That's what this does. This is, Marietta City Schools is asking for this. Cobb County Schools would like this as an option. It just gives school districts the option should they choose this for their school board members.
So to be clarifying, I guess on that would not qualify as being paid through the QBE formula. This would be
Correct.
something that the school board would have to pay out other funds.
Correct, and largely borne by the school board member themselves. But right now, there's not an ability to provide the option for a school board member to include their family in something they get from the schools. It's just, for some reason, in statute, it's not allowed.
Okay. And so the substitute that you gave us is AM 490219?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And Mr. Chairman, I didn't know until the Chairman Leverett and others said they were pleased to have it on this bill exactly what vehicle it would be on. This was discussed in the House, and they said, you know, let's just add this in the Senate because it was already in the process. And glad to take questions about this, Mr. Chairman.
So help me out and tell me exactly where this is gonna be added at.
Okay, if you could,
Give you
can I
one?
have a copy of this, and do we have, is counsel here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I started making like an airplane fly in.
Yes, this is the amendment we offered, and that Chairman Leverett's happy to have added to this. What we've done here is, this is 20-2, which is in the QBE. It's in Code Section 55. It would go before Section 1. I mean, if this is added as committee substitute, it would be a new Section 1 because it's earlier in the code than this, but essentially, council would take what is Section A here and just insert this is Section 1 of the bill. That's all it would do. And you can see, Mr. Chairman, if you look on line 21, 22 of the bill, the only thing it does is lay the remainder of such insurance costs, and it's all cost for any coverage for family members, that's stricken, shall be paid as an employee contribution by the board member. So what this means is the board member is going to bear the costs, but currently there's no ability for that to even be as part of their benefits package.
Okay. So help me out, because there's nothing on here.
Yes, sir.
Okay, so and of course, say that Representative Leverett was fine with this, obviously.
Yes,
I
sir.
just wanted everybody, because we had a couple of people come in after we made that announcement. And Representative Leverett's in another committee meeting. So we're going to line 21, is that what you said?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman, if you look at this section, it's Code Section 20, on line 7, 20-2-55.
Right.
You know, when we do our bills, they conventionally, unless they're different sections, parts of a bill, these things are in code section order. So this would be a new code section. Section 1 of the bill would be this, and then the existing bill beneath you would just be sections 2 and 3.
This is section, move everything down.
Oh, okay.
This is
Oh,
section 1.
Oh, okay, I see what you're talking about. Okay. I was thrown off by the A outside of it.
Yeah.
So section 1 then would become section 2, section 2
Yes,
be
sir.
3.
That's all it would
section
do.
3, 4, okay.
This didn't get out of legislative council to be added to the bill for committee today. They just couldn't produce it in time, so this is the amendment we had in the House.
Senator Howe? What number are you?
10, please.
Always.
I
She didn't think that was funny.
don't understand one thing. So this is related to board members, school board members. So school board members in some districts have benefits package that will now include, I'm just making sure I understand, that will now include medical and dental, that they can pay for themselves.
This will be permissive to allow districts, should they choose to allow their school board members to pay for their own medical and dental. Right now, they are prohibited from doing that.
Just for themselves, not for family members as well.
No. Right now, they're able to provide it, school districts are able to provide benefits for school board members, but school board members only. They're even prohibited from providing benefits within their plan to school board members if the school board members pay for it. They can't even pay for it themselves. This allows them to pay for it themselves.
Thank you
I
for
don't
the
think that's an unusual situation. I was on a board. I was on a board and I received very little pay, but I received health insurance as a part of it. And
As an individual, but you did not get it for your family.
no, that's right. Well, it wasn't a school board now. It wasn't a school board. It was another type of board. So it's not, I don't think it's an unusual situation, is what I'm trying to say.
I was just trying to understand.
Any other questions? Oh, yes, ma'am. Ms. Freddie, level.
Thank you so very much, Mr. Chairman. I would like to rule on the germaneness of this, because in one bill, you're talking about the employees, school employees, and in the amendment, you are speaking of an elected official, whether it's school-related or not. So I'm not sure that that's germane.
Well, we have to refer to legislative council.
Well, Mr. Chairman, to the lady's question, I mean, it relates to benefits, coverage provided within Title 20, Chapter 2, relating to people who are paid for services rendered for school employees, whether you're a teacher, whether you're a school board member, you're performing a service.
But there's a huge difference between a school employee, especially a teacher or someone working under the auspices of that school district, and a school board member, which would be an elected official. So can we get a ruling on it? Please.
I think it's a decision of the chair, is it not, Mr. Chairman?
You want to come up here? Come here.
Is Mr. Leverett here, Representative Leverett here?
He's chairing a committee meeting right now.
So germaneness would be an issue for the committee to decide. If the question was about single subject matter, I could address that. Okay. So I
Thank
think
you.
arguments could be made either way. Both of these are related to benefits provided by local school systems. So I think argument could be made on either side that this is related or
It's related, but it's not related, because you're talking about two different, well, you know, whatever the committee decides, but you're looking at two different categories. One happens to be an elected official, and the other happens to be an employee of the district. So it's a little bit different there.
Yeah, so the test for the single subject matter is whether the matters are so connected with or related to each other, either logically or in popular understanding, as to be parts of a single subject. So I think arguments could be made either way, that these are both matters that are related to benefits provided by local school systems, but I think your argument that, you know, they're for different groups of people for different benefits, I think both of those are
Can't hear you,
valid.
baby, can't hear you.
Sorry, I think both of those are valid arguments, that these are
Somebody
both.
give her a mic right there.
Is it not on?
She's-
Can they pull it up to her mic? We can't hear
Sorry,
you.
I'm very soft-spoken.
name?
Sorry. So again, I think these are all benefits that are provided by local school systems. So that's one argument. Another is that there are different benefits provided to different groups of people. So I think both arguments could be made. So I would leave that to the committee to decide.
Thank you.
What's your name?
So you just gave us this, which is the school systems that
Yes, sir.
do not pay Social Security or Medicare. I guess they pay Medicare, but not Social Security.
Yes, sir. This is the map, and in all the counties in yellow are counties that do not pay Social Security. They only are a part of TRS. And you can see it's a patchwork across the state. You can imagine teaching in one county, moving to the next county, and the benefits are dramatically different.
Legislative Council just said we also need to make some changes in the title also. So I tell you what, if you wouldn't mind, we're gonna have another meeting on Thursday. Would you mind?
Mr. Chairman, I'm at the pleasure of the committee.
Well,
I don't want to hold Representative Leverett's bill back.
No, I
I
understand.
just, this is such a simple, Mr. Chairman, the only reason I'm bringing it is such a simple policy question
well,
that we thought tying it to a bill that relates to benefits
Oh,
for school
okay.
district employees
That's all it
is,
so, but, okay, it's a lot more simple than I thought. So on line 1, it would be to take out subpart 2 of part 6 of Article 6 of, and that would read, to amend Chapter 2 of Title 20 of Official Code of Georgia annotated relating to, and then take out
Yes.
conditions of employment in relating to elementary and secondary education. Is that correct? Okay. You okay with that?
yes, sir. Yeah, absolutely, yes, sir. That's-
Yes, ma'am.
Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Senator, for bringing this. But I think the discrepancy is that one, either the bill or the bill and the amendment, rather, should have both on there. Because one is talking about elected officials only, as you've heard already. And you're amending something that is not really stated in here. So if, because they don't consider us, for example, employees of the state of Georgia, even though we are, but they don't. And that's the same way it is because we're elected officials. And that's the same way it is with the school board. You're not considered
And to the lady,
an
that
employee.
to the lady, that the concern was simply in legislative economy. If this amendment's a bill by itself, that's another person's bill that's not going to be heard this session. You know, it becomes, because they're so clearly related as benefits provided by school districts, it just seemed to make sense to put these together as a single bill, so we're not, other members aren't losing bills on crossover day or on sunny day, because these so naturally go together. That was the thinking.
Can I further ask one more? Well, what about if, since this is an amendment, you put on there and employees next to retired employees?
Well, I mean, employees already get benefits for family members. There's a specific
Okay,
prohibition
You're right.
for school board members from even being able to pay for themselves to have their family. There's just a strict prohibition from that. This just lifts the prohibitions, all it does. 'Cause
No, I had two parents who went all the way 40-some years each in Atlanta Public Schools and retired. And one was on the board for a while and in the area office, my father. So I know what you're saying, but it's still two different things.
and again, if
Thank you, thank you.
Which number? Three?
Yes, number 3. Thank you, Chairman Setzler. Question, I came in just a couple minutes late. I think I heard you say Marietta is seeking this,
yes,
and maybe Cobb as well? Okay, and this is like a voluntary, they could decide to offer it.
that's correct.
But they don't have to.
It's their choice. But right now, because this language is stricken on line 22, it's prohibited. They can't do this. They can't even authorize school board members to pay for the family addition to have it as part of their health care package. It's prohibited by statute.
And are they under, do they go under state health benefit plan?
There.
Okay. One quick further question, if the gentleman doesn't mind. This does ring a bell. I feel like you may have had this language last year.
We talked about it last year. We sure did.
Okay, so, but it just never kind of,
It was our belief that this is such a cleanup effort that it didn't require its own bill. It just, because things were moving in the House, Chairman leveraged it, let's just add it in the Senate. So I'm glad to take questions as long as we need to. We just felt like this vehicle dealing with healthcare benefits was the cleanest place to do it.
so it wasn't that there was like opposition that we aren't seeing from, okay, that was my question.
House Chairman supports it, the House sponsor supports it.
Three, 5? Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to make a motion to pass House Bill 37 LC 491994 with amendment 490219. Motion to pass on LC 491994.
And I'll second.
Bo seconds it.
Okay.
Take up the amendment.
We've got to take
Okay,
up- Take up the amendment,
Oh, yeah, we have to take an amendment
and
first.
then we take up the amendment.
Okay.
Well, you need to do that now.
Right. So
Need a separate
now,
Okay, so we've had
Made
a
a
first and a
motion.
second on amendment.
right, no, on the bill.
Okay.
And now we'll make the motion on the amendment AM 490219.
Okay, so all in favor of the amendment, raise your hand.
Oh, wait, do we know the lines and all that, Mr. Chairman?
I think
We got that?
It's a new
we
section
know the
one.
lines, right? Yeah, she's got it all. Yeah, thank you. Okay, thank you. Okay, now, the bill. Okay, need a motion for the bill?
Well, we made the motion second on the bill, so now you just
Okay,
call for the
so
vote.
yeah, all in favor of the bill?
Can we say discussion real quick?
Oh, any discussion, yeah.
Yes,
okay.
my only discussion is, just for my own knowledge, what, the yellow are the ones that don't pay social security?
That's correct. On the map, some school districts are not required to pay both Social Security and TRS. Some opt to, some not. What you see is if the districts in yellow don't pay Social Security in addition to TRS, those in white pay both. And you can imagine if you're a teacher that's moving from Cobb to Fulton, you might think you're getting Social Security when you take a job there and you realize they're not taking it out and it's not being set aside for you. It's a real shock to teachers.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, I'd like to know, you say, Social Security may not be taken out, but if they've paid it for years and they went to certain schools, you still have it at the end when it's time to retire.
Correct. If you've, for example, if you're a new teacher, you worked in a district that has Social Security taken out for 4 years, and then you change, you serve 31 years in a district that doesn't, you may think that you've got it, but for 31 years, you've been teaching a district that's not taking it out. You have 4 years of Social Security only saved. You don't have a whole entire career taken.
I see.
So there's people who've moved and they realize when they retired, wait a minute, I thought I had Social Security, and I said, I'm sorry, that's $3,000 a month less you're getting in your retirement than you thought you had. It's a shock for folks. So,
We have one person that wants to speak on the bill. Robert? Yeah, if you would, please.
Thank you, Chairman. It's Robert Aycock with Professional Association of Georgia Educators. My comments are just going to pertain to the original version of the bill. We have no position either way on the amendment. But as far as the core of HB 37 goes, just want to say we are in support of the bill. We think it would be an excellent way to make sure that educators are informed about what benefits they're paying into, which ones they're not, so they don't unfortunately come up to that momentous time of retirement only to get a very bad surprise that where they thought they were going to be able to draw Social Security. That's not in fact the case. We just don't want anybody blindsided in that. And so with that, happy to answer any questions, but thank you for your time and urge your support.
Thank you. Thank you. Okay, let's take a vote, because we got 2 more bills to do. All those in favor of House Bill 37 as amended, raise your right hand.
by committee substitute.
Okay, well, thank you. It passes. Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Oh, I'm sorry. All opposed. 2.
And Mr. Chairman, is that by committee substitute?
That is.
Okay.
Yeah.
Super.
Thank you for your patience.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members.
Ladies first. Would you agree with that? I'm excited about this bill. I read it last night, and it's got a lot of good stuff in it. I appreciate that.
Thank you.
Yeah, I have some questions though.
Not
Yes,
too
ma'am.
many.
Please tell us who you are, and tell us why this bill is, why is this bill important to you?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I am State Representative Deborah Bazemore, and this bill is important because we're talking about literacy this year, and for every year, basically, but this year we have a concentrated effort to allow our children to be educated early on and to get the tools they need to move forward. And so let me start, however, if you don't mind. I'm going to be respectful of your time.
No, you're fine.
Section 1 of the bill, I am reading from LC 620204S.
Hold on just,
That is the latest.
yeah, hold on just a second, please. Oh, yeah, I'm ready.
You have it, okay. Okay, so the first section of this bill outlines how the state of Georgia and the House and Senate will support the disabled community and disabled students of Georgia. Starting in July of 2027, any new elementary school built in the state of Georgia with a playground will have an enhanced minimum set of standards for such playground. This bill provides for an engaging play space with age and ability appropriate levels of challenge and offers opportunities for children of all abilities to succeed, regardless of physical and intellectual attributes. Furthermore, this measure calls for a sensory, diverse environment that enables children of all abilities to develop physically, socially, and emotionally. It also, this is the national standards for accessible playgrounds to be in line with acceptable approach for modern-day playgrounds. Now, this other portion in Section 2, it outlines that State Board of Education will establish a 3-year program, immersive writing program, for students in grades 2nd to 5th grade to improve students' literacy skills. It provides funding for all public school students in those grades to participate in this program. This writing program is aligned with the current writing standards established by the State Board of Education and could be integrated into its existing curricula. Each school will be required to submit an application in order to participate in the program. This program will actually create entrepreneurs, and I'm going to show you an example. This is a book an 11-year-old student wrote. She wrote the whole book, and my granddaughter illustrated the entire book. This book is now on Amazon. Every time this book is purchased, the author reaps the benefits of this book. So, and it says, a different kind of hero. That was her vision. It wasn't something that needed to be given to her. This is what she thought. And the person that presented this program, when I was I went to Trilith to a conference. He has now helped over 200 young people write books and get them published. So we needed to have this in our schools to give young people the opportunity. As you can see, it's a pilot program, and they have to apply for it.
So is the book written in cursive?
Unfortunately not. It is not. And I can pass it around so
Yeah,
you all
please.
can see it.
Please.
Thank you. Thank you. So the last section, it addresses the school's partnership with Scouting to promote civics education. So we're talking about Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts. So I just want to let you know that I'm a little old now, but when I was younger, I was a Brownie and then I was a Girl Scout also. So, just needed you to know that. So it teaches young people to be better, engaged as students and leaders in the community. Okay, they taught me something.
Yeah.
Some schools come under pressure, however, from non-civic organizations to access the schools and promote their organizations to students. Sometimes the school feels pressured and creates a blanket exclusion of all organizations, including Scouting. The language protects schools and encourages schools to allow the Boy Scouts and Girl Scouts to promote civics education to students, along with other youth civic organizations as defined by federal law. Civics education is important in our rural, urban, and suburban schools. Civics education and engagement makes Georgia stronger. And additionally, 14 other states have passed similar legislation, including Tennessee and South Carolina. And just to let you know, if you don't remember, that this bill, a version of it, was passed out last year.
Is that it? That's your presentation?
Yes.
Let me ask you let me ask you a couple of quick questions before we open it up for the committee.
Sure.
How did we get away from cursive writing?
That's what I want to know.
How did it?
I don't understand, but I can tell you that there is, one of my colleagues in the House has a bill. Unfortunately, it didn't cross over, but she has a bill presenting that we institute cursive writing again.
Yeah. And then, because we should keep hearing the Declaration, a lot of kids won't even be able to read the Declaration of Independence. Because of the cursive writing, all those old documents. And I know we got 3 grandsons in St. Mary's in Camden County Schools, and they don't teach cursive writing. Now, we got 2 grandsons in a private school in Statesboro, and they do teach cursive writing.
Yes.
And so I just don't quite understand.
And I teach my grandchildren cursive writing.
Very good,
So-
very good. Let me ask you a question, and I've talked to some other people about this. There's a part in here that really, it doesn't concern me, but I just want to draw attention to it on line 47. I know it's extremely important for us to have these playgrounds. I totally 1,000% agree with the ADA accessible playgrounds for these children. And I find if we come back next year and change this a little bit, but playgrounds accessible will be a sidewalk or pathway from the school. Well, we all understand what a sidewalk is, but I don't understand what a pathway is. And so I'm concerned that pathway may be just a path in the grass, or it may be some gravel there or something like that. But I've talked to some of the people about this. I'm fine with it as it is, but you understand my concern about it.
I do.
Okay, but I want those children like Charlie Miller that's here all the time. He's not a child anymore, but the person in a wheelchair like him, or Sarah
Right.
James, or I want them to be able to go from the schoolhouse to the playground, on to the playground.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you.
I totally agree.
So, you got any questions out of the committee? Senator Kemp, number 10. No, you're 9.
First question, didn't we pass a version of this section 1 already?
Lines 17 through 73, we passed last week on Representative Corbett's bill.
Yeah.
So this is identical language. I was going to ask the same thing. So Representative, why are we looking at almost 60 lines of identical code of a bill that we passed out 4 days ago?
It wasn't, I'm sorry.
I
It
mean,
was,
this committee heard it, and we voted on it on House Bill 371.
Is
But
that about?
I'm not understanding.
thank you for bringing that up. It was a friendly amendment that was proposed,
Friendly amendment for a section 1 to be,
attached
yeah.
to the bill.
Yeah.
even though we already passed it.
Well, they
That's
wanted-
what
they
I
wanted to
was
make sure
asked.
It may not have got to
I
the
don't
House,
think
it
at the
may-
time you all had passed it.
Yeah.
And so when I presented it in the House, there was a friendly amendment that was added to the bill.
Would it clean your bill up if we were
took
to
it out.
strike that so that we're not having to juggle quite so much info? Or is there concern? Because the difference between your bill and that one is that the bill that we passed, 371, does get into the funding mechanism. 375 million a year. So Senator Kemp and I are picking up on the same thing there. I guess
I would accept
because
that.
this doesn't get into the funding mechanism of it, it
Correct.
describes the functionality of it.
That's correct.
But, yeah, just trying to understand, because we either need to pick up some of that language to drop into here, or we need to
Take it up.
clean up in some way, so.
I would agree to a cleanup if you've already addressed that issue and went into depth about it.
Okay, thank you. What passed here is waiting for rules.
Senator Kemp, you okay?
Oh, yeah, okay.
Okay, let's have a question, then we'll come back to that.
Did we pass it on the floor?
No, it's a House bill that we passed out of this committee on March 21st.
But did it go on the rules and on the floor?
It hasn't been
Well,
picked yet.
It's still open then, it's not.
I understand that.
It's not duplication until one of them may not pass.
Sure, I just wonder if we're going to be getting in the habit of just replicating House bills and sticking them on other bills, just in the hopes that one gets picked in rules.
Senator Parent, you number 2, 1, 3.
Just a couple questions. So Thanks for the bill, Representative Bazemore. So the as passed House, first off, did it have, because this is a committee sub, what in here did not already pass the House?
The latter part with the Boy Scout and Girl
Patriotic
Scout.
Society, okay. I remember that language from last year as
Yes.
well. And I can't remember, I do remember that there was not objection to adding Boy Scouts. I remember Senator Halpern and I chased this list down last year, because we were sort of like, what is this? And learned that there's a statute or it's something in the CFR. I'm just going off memory from like a year ago. And so I guess the question would be that, I recall the Boy Scouts, good, but the question is, since there's like a really long list in the CFR, would it make sense to have it not be quite so wide open? I mean, well, first of all, you didn't add this.
I did not.
So who can I ask the question to? Okay. Well, I'm not trying to chair the meeting.
Thank you.
So essentially, for your part, we've got the part about the pilot program.
Yes.
Okay, I understand that. Then for the playground, I obviously understand that. I'll just toss in, this is kind of a comment, it's not unusual to have, the same language on multiple bills. Usually it gets worked out. But that passed the House.
Yes.
Okay,
it
and
did.
who added that in the House bill?
Chairman Dubnik.
Okay, that's helpful. All right, so great. So that's all my questions except for hearing about the question I have about Section 3 that Representative Bazemore can't really answer because
Okay.
it's not her
Oh, okay.
language. But that's, so.
like he was getting up to.
Yes, he can answer.
Do I know?
He was getting up to respond. I was wondering if he can speak to.
Yeah, if you would, please.
Good afternoon, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. I'm Cade Cullifer. I work with Troutman Strategies in Atlanta, and we represent the Atlanta Area Council of the Boy Scouts. To Senator Parent's question, so actually a stronger version passed last year, and it was actually comprehensive. It looks to Title 36 in the federal code that defines patriotic societies and observances. So a number in that list is actually observances, which wouldn't apply to this bill, but a few of those are actually patriotic societies like Boys and Girls Clubs, Boy Scouts, Girl Scouts, Future Farmers of America, American Legion, others. But if you'll see, the language in Section 3 actually narrows that list even further in that it's youth organizations. So there are a few, Aviation Hall of Fame, some observances that just don't apply in this area. But I think that we were trying to be broad enough to capture sort of the good service/military adjacent organizations that are typically engaged in civics activity.
We got a few more minutes. We got one gentleman here who's been patient, so we got. But this is important, obviously.
So thank you, Mr. Culver. So basically, you're saying everything on, I now am looking at the code, on this list that deals with youth would be included, right? Not just Boy Scouts?
Correct, assuming
Okay.
that it's an active organization rather than a Hall of Fame or Veterans Memorial. We've got sort of a blend of organizations
And
included in the
essentially,
list.
the language is saying the school system, there's a presumption that they should be able to utilize facilities, but if the system decides they can't, they have to provide a reason in writing.
Exactly right.
That's what it does, right?
Yes, ma'am.
It doesn't force them to.
Correct.
Okay.
It's discretionary.
Thank you.
No lights. Call the question. Okay. Oh, boy, that was easy. What in the world? Okay, first and second. Any other questions? You have a quick, number 10?
10, please. So just a question. Can I revisit what Senator Still was saying about whole Section 1? And I'm fine with this bill, but do we
Yeah, he
need to
withdrew
be repassing that section a second time? Or do we want to
No, I think-
narrow this bill even further just to let it be section 2 and section 3?
Personally, I think it'd be better to leave it like it is, to
Okay.
make sure it gets passed by both sides.
Okay.
Both sides of the Capitol.
Okay,
Okay?
fair enough.
Okay. Okay. So,
Good Lord, finding
all in favor, raise your right hand,
bills on the
please.
outside to stick
Please.
shit in.
Please. All against? All not in favor? 2, okay.
Wait,
What'd you say?
I voted for.
Senator Zozal, you didn't even smile at me when I was kind of picking on you a little bit.
Love these mandates, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, and who's going to carry the bill for you?
So I believe it is the pro tem.
Oh, I would think so. That's kind of a mental lapse on my part. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so
Thank for being
much,
patient.
Mr.
This
Chair
lady has been
and
here
committee.
since 1 o'clock?
A little later.
Very
Thank you so
passionate.
much, committee and chair.
Representative Cannon. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
And tell us why this is important to you.
It's important to me because I like to expose children to the same chances I did growing up as a kid on the farm. I have House Bill 451 LC 610144S. House Bill 451 would authorize local boards of education to provide instruction in hunter safety in grades 6 through 12 by Georgia DNR certified instructors. Just a little bit of a background, from a personal piece of background. I had the great fortune, as I mentioned, of growing up on a family farm. And from a very young age, I remember my dad going out to quail hunt, duck hunt, dove hunt, and those are some of my most cherished memories growing up, was spending time with him out on the farm and in the fields of our farm in South Georgia. So the aim of this bill is fairly straightforward. It's to increase the opportunities for our young people to be exposed, that's the key word there, exposed to the outdoors by allowing them to learn more about our time-honored traditions of hunting and fishing, which generate billions of dollars in direct expenditures statewide every year on an annual basis. So the bill does not require, it authorizes that hunter safety classes to take place in our public schools. However, it does require that if a school chooses to participate, that any instruction provided must be based on the already existing hunter education courses already established by our own DNR. And it must be taught by a DNR qualified instructor. So in crafting the bill, we work very closely with the Sportsman's Caucus. This is an official Sportsman's Caucus bill. It's been introduced and passed in several other states, Michigan being the most recent, I think Tennessee recently as well. We work with the Department of Education, DNR obviously, Sportsman's Caucus to follow what's already being taught in our schools right now. It's going on now in our schools now, it's just not in the code. The language we have in this bill, 4 sentences, does make it part of the code. So overall, just a very simple bill, and I believe this will have a very positive long-term implication on our young people and also the American system of conservation funding. Stand for any questions, Mr. Chairman.
Number 8.
Appreciate you bringing the bill, very supportive of the bill. Just had a quick question.
Yes, sir.
If the school does this and the child goes through the program, will they be eligible to get their hunter safety card, or is that something they still got to go through?
That's what it's exactly for, Senator.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Hey, Representative Cannon, good to see you.
Yes, sir.
Line 22, each local board shall be authorized to provide. I have some of us up here represent Fulton County, Forsyth County, Gwinnett County. There is no hunting going on in those counties. And those 3 counties represent almost a quarter of all the students in Georgia. Why are we doing a mandate for them to be doing education? It says they shall be authorized. So shall be, I'm hoping that not that they shall provide, but they shall be authorized to. So they're not going to have to do this, right?
That's correct. Same question came up in the House Committee. Ledge Council answered that by saying they don't like to use the word may, but so the word shall be authorized is the key, not required. So shall be authorized, allowed to do it. It's very permissive, not required, not mandated.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good question. Oh, number 4.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And thank you to the author. I support this. When I was in 7th grade, we had a DNR officer come into our classroom and teach us hunter safety. And at the end of that section, we were able to all get our hunter safety cards. And I wish they could do this in every school, because not only is it just hunter safety, but in that course, you get to learn about firearm safety. And I think, you know, with responsible gun ownership and educating our children, it's important for them to know what a safety is and how to handle a weapon properly. And I just support you and want to
Absolutely
commend you
critical.
for this bill.
Absolutely critical. Yes.
Senator Dixon.
I just wanted to be on the record that I do hunt in Gwinnett County every year.
Squirrels.
No, deer and dove. Yeah. No, it's not in the city of Mulberry, but
For the record. For the record.
for the record.
Senator Hickman, just for, just one quick note, there are about 400 instructors that are already qualified. 256 are from the law enforcement division from DNR. There's 66 volunteers, and 107 are actually school teachers currently providing this instruction.
Right, thank you. Senator Bearden's made the motion. Second by Senator Kemp. Any discussion? Seeing none, all in favor of the bill, raise your hand. That's 100%.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.
Who's gonna
I
carry
appreciate
for
it. Senator Anderson, who's a Sportsman's Caucus Chair on the Senate side.
Lee Anderson.
I say.
Thank y'all.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. Thank you.
Oh, yeah. One quick statement. We got our education dinner tomorrow night, 6 o'clock at Dolph's Barbecue. The sun's gonna be shining, people are gonna be outside, they're gonna have the fire pit going, and we're gonna have a great time. So everybody's invited, and of course your admins are invited too. Thank you. 6 o'clock. And we adjourn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee.